Hello, everyone, and welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. I'm glad you're here. Before we begin, please remember to like the video, subscribe, and tap the join button if you'd like to support more long-form stories and balanced deep dives. Today, we're opening the curtain on a topic that keeps returning to the trending list. The whispers about friction between Elçin Sangu and writer-director actress Gupse, and the way Barış Arduç's name is constantly pulled into that conversation. Rather than recycling the same headlines, we're going to slow down, retrace where these stories came from, and examine why a few ambiguous moments can snowball into a full-blown narrative. Let's set the stage with a quick refresher. Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç became a phenomenon thanks to their sparkling screen partnership. Their timing, banter, and believable tenderness created a fandom that still quotes scenes and edits clips years later. At the same time, away from cameras and premieres, Barış built a private life with Gupse, a multi-hyphenate talent whose career spans writing, acting, and directing. This dual reality, an adored fictional duo, and a real-life relationship has always been fertile ground for speculation. Fans develop a personal connection to characters. Tabloids chase engagement. When those two forces meet, even neutral updates can be read as signals of secret harmony or hidden hostility. So, how did the current round of tension talk catch fire? The answer is not one dramatic explosion, but a chain of small sparks. A project pitch floated online with both Elçin and Barış listed as in talks. A week later, a brand tagged one of them and not the other in a promotion. Around the same time, a short backstage clip captured a joking remark cut in the middle about timing never lining up. None of these fragments proved anything. But together they created a puzzle that social media rushed to solve. Within hours, captions shifted from questions to conclusions, and a tidy storyline appeared. Someone blocked someone. Someone felt slighted. Someone else was not happy. To cut through the noise, it helps to zoom in on working styles rather than rumors. Crew members and casting teams often describe Elçin as meticulous and process-driven. She digs into motivation, prefers layered dialogue, and rehearses until a scene breathes. Barış, by contrast, is comfortable finding rhythm in the moment and letting instinct guide his choices once the camera rolls. Those approaches aren't enemies. They're complementary, but they do require time. Creative differences under a tight schedule can feel like tension when, in truth, they are simply the friction that makes a scene spark. Fold Gupse into this picture and you add another creative brain. As a writer-director, she cares deeply about structure, tone, and the balancing act between character, truth, and audience expectation. Reducing all of that to jealousy or rivalry erases the craft and turns artists into memes. Let's also talk about how visibility gets misread. Is not the type to hover in every joint interview. She often promotes her own projects and keeps other parts of life low profile. When she's not present, captions call it disapproval. When she is present, a single neutral frame may be labeled a cold look. Meanwhile, Elçin's dry humor, a trait colleagues appreciate, can sound sharper once it's clipped to 5 words. And Barış, whose public persona is calm, becomes a blank canvas onto which everyone paints their favorite theory. In other words, absence, presence, a smile, a straight face, everything becomes evidence. If we strip away the color commentary, the verifiable story is less theatrical and more ordinary. Two performers with different processes occasionally pass on joint work because calendars, scripts, and energy don't align. A third artist, who is also a partner in private life, conducts herself professionally and focuses on her own slate. That's not a headline, but it is a healthy boundary. To make this concrete, consider 3 plausible scenarios that explain most of the signals fans debate, none of which require a feud. The logistics scenario. A producer wants both leads, but one is locked into a shoot abroad during the promo window. Marketing insists the launch requires the full pair. Result: offer declined, online interpretation. They won't work together. The tone scenario. A brand pitches a light comedic sketch. One party wants sharper humor. The other prefers restrained, character-driven beats. The director can't reconcile the tones in a 30-second format. Result? Pass. Online interpretation. Someone blocked someone. The strategy scenario. One artist is building momentum for a dramatic role and avoids appearances that might confuse branding right before award submissions. Result? A friendly not now. It's online interpretation. She's upset, or he's avoiding. When people close to a set say, nothing dramatic happened, they're not hiding a scandal. They're often telling the most boring and most accurate truth. That said, the emotional undertow is real, not because of personal vendettas, but because of expectations. When millions of viewers invest in a fictional love story, they carry that intimacy into real life. That can feel heavy for everyone involved. Choosing to collaborate only when a project truly calls for it is not pettiness. It is self-protection and respect for the work. Another reason the narrative refuses to die is that it is lucrative. A clipped sentence paired with a suggestive headline drives clicks. A still photo with a spicy caption feeds an algorithm. And because these loops reward certainty, it's the most careful voices we don't know get drowned out by the loudest ones. We know exactly what this means. Over time, a rumor calcifies into common knowledge, even though no one can point to a primary source. Let's pull back further and examine how each person has handled the spotlight historically. Elçin usually keeps interviews on the craft scripts that challenge her, directors who push for nuance, ensembles that share focus. If she turns down a project or a panel, she rarely narrates why. Gups is similarly reserved about private life, channeling energy into writing and directing. She trusts audiences to meet her on the page and on the screen rather than in comment sections. Barış tends to step around baited questions, praising colleagues and moving back to the project at hand. This pattern prioritizing work over gossip doesn't feed rumor mills, but it does build long careers. There's also a softer human layer to acknowledge. In an industry that compresses time, friendships form fast and deeply. Confidences are shared at 3 a.m. between takes. Jokes help everyone survive the grind. Nostalgia is powerful. So is the ache of being misread by strangers who only see the finished frame. It's not hard to imagine why any of the three would choose silence when the topic turns to who likes whom, who unfollowed whom, or who sat where at a premiere. Silence leaves room for real conversations to happen off camera. Could Elçin and Barış work together again? Of course. Would it be healthy to do so only to swat down gossip? Probably not. The project should earn their time on the page, in the schedule, and in the heart. If and when that happens, audiences will feel it immediately because chemistry cannot be faked for long. Until then, hoping for a reunion is sweet. Demanding one as proof of peace is unfair. As for Gups, her role in these narratives is often distorted. She is not a gatekeeper dragging chains across doors. She is a creator with her own stories to tell. Treating her as an obstacle erases a decade of work and the basic fact that adults in the same orbit can respect each other without sharing every stage. To keep this conversation grounded, here's a simple summary. What we can say with confidence. The three names involved continue to work and succeed on their own terms. Offers for joint appearances and projects surface periodically. Some proceed and some do not. Public posts and paparazzi clips are ambiguous by nature. They rarely deliver full context. None of the parties has issued a detailed statement alleging personal animosity. What remains speculative? Any claim that one person forbids the others from collaborating? Assertions that a private comment or a facial expression equals hostility. Grand unified theories based on cropped screenshots or edited audio. Predictions about personal relationships made from marketing choices. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know our guiding principle. Curiosity without intrusion. You can be a passionate viewer and still resist narratives that shrink real people into simple villains and heroes. Celebrate work that moves you. Ask for better scripts. Applaud projects that put talented people in roles that suit them. And when the rumor wheel starts turning, remember that you can choose to step off. Before we close, a practical note on media literacy that helps in stories like this. When you see a headline, look for a direct quote with clear time, place, and full sentence. If you find only sources say without names, treat it as color, not confirmation. The clip is under 10 seconds and cuts mid-sentence. Assume there's context you're not hearing. If a single image carries a sweeping claim about feelings, notice whether the caption tells you more about the photographer than the subject. Whatever happens next, whether a future project brings Elçin and Barış together on screen again, whether GUPS premieres a new film that reshapes the conversation, or whether all three continue on separate, flourishing paths, the best outcome is the same. Artists choosing with intention, audiences engaging with respect. Thank you for spending time with me today and for valuing nuance over noise. If you enjoyed this balanced look at a complicated topic, please like the video, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and tap the join button to support more thoughtful stories. Tell me in the comments, do you think public figures should address rumors directly, or is quiet professionalism the wiser path? I'm looking forward to your insights. Until next time, take care and goodbye.